All right, well, we're here on my new 2003 8.1 Yukon, and I am going to flush the radiator and replace it with some universal green fluid, the 8100. I need to take that off and clean it, kind of rejuvenate her a little bit. I got some spark plugs, wires, all new hoses on the way. I'm just gonna replace everything because this is meant to be a pretty stout tow rig for a camper we're eventually gonna get. So kind of be juggling two GMT 800s at once here. This is getting a full cam swap, non-DOD, but essentially the same process of cam, lifters, just kind of going through it. But this is just, let's call it a tune-up. So air filter, fuel filter, cabin filter, like I said, spark plugs, wires, and yeah, so I tried to look, and there wasn't a drain on this radiator, which is pretty frustrating. So I've got a new lower hose, so I might as well rip that off. So like I said, this lower radiator hose, I'm just gonna pull that clip off. I did notice that this horn is completely roached. I don't even know if it works. May have to give that a test, but like the frame looks great. Everything looks great. It's just like the quarters and apparently the horn, so whatever. All right, well, got the intake pulled out of the way. He said that he replaced the air filter. I went ahead and ordered a different one, but it definitely doesn't look too dirty, but rather know that everything's good. I do plan on cleaning the mass airflow sensor instead of just throwing money at a new one. I did notice that like a leaf had gotten into it, so whatever. Probably gonna vacuum this out, just make sure there's not a bunch of debris starting off. But yep, gonna start working these hoses off. Something interesting, and I think he said that they had replaced the fan clutch at one point. I think they gave up on this compression fitting and just threw a worm clamp on it, so kind of goofy. But this throttle body, I don't know if it's like newer or what, but that's really clean, so happy to see that for sure. Alrighty, so we got our new cabin air filter, small coolant hose, got to figure out where that goes. Upper radiator hose, new AC Delco filter, new AC belt, 2 fuel filters, one to keep as a spare, and our first sticker in the new shop. So I can't remember, I think it's like a Vauxhall something, if I'm remembering correctly from the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit game I grew up with. But yeah, like I said, new shop. Hoping to get garage door station and power, but otherwise we're kind of just trapping out here. All right, well, got the plugs out. None of them really look bad. The back side of all of them had a little crust on it like that, but then the other side looked fine. They are AC Delco. So I'm going with some NGKs. I'm going with some NGKs on there, so be good to get that put on there. I've used them on pretty much everything else, but yeah, definitely a fan so far of how this 8.1 goes together. I did notice that this ground that goes to the hood is missing, but I don't notice a light under there, so I'll probably add it back out of principle, but I'm not really noticing anything that it's losing because it doesn't have the under hood light, so whatever. But yeah, I definitely think she sat for a little bit. Just dirt dauber stuff here and there, but yeah, definitely need to get some lights out here. It's just dark. All right, this little elbow hose here has been a real treat, so I'm glad I'm replacing it because I don't think you could really do this on the side of the road. But anyways, it goes from whatever that neck is right next to that alternator. We're losing focus. Anyways, right next to the alternator down to like the top of the water pump. And so anyways, it's those compression clamps. I had to use the extender thing that you can kind of reach places with and basically work this bottom one around because mine was basically at the face of the block. This one wasn't that big a deal, that one. But anyways, there's a lot of tension on this because it's form fit. So I had to put a flathead in here and pry it off that. And then now I'm hoping I can just pull this hose off. But this has been a real treat. Alrighty, well, things have escalated. The lower radiator hose, if you work on 8.1s or I got apparently Duramaxes, you know this, but where that bottom hose goes on, it's an absolute nightmare. So I opted to just remove the radiator and do it on the ground because this sucks. I'm like literally gonna hurt myself trying to put this thing in, so I'm not gonna do that. So pull the radiator out real quick, push that on, and go from there. All right, well, this continued sucked, and that actually is part of it. But anyways, there's this indicator here that I didn't know about. You really wouldn't, because it's basically out of view whenever you're trying to do it under the truck. This wasn't helpful, don't do that. Pull it out, take out your air box. It's a bunch of 10 millimeters and two like plastic ones. I just ended up pulling them out, but anyways, I hope I didn't rally this too hard. I'm probably gonna go put the hose on it and flush it and make sure I didn't break anything, but as you can tell, the snap rings on there, the O-ring, I mean, I believe it's seated. This is like the craziest thing I've probably done as far as radiators go. So not a big fan of this, but like I said, I'm gonna go fill it up, you know, essentially redneck pressure test it with the garden hose, and get her back in the truck. All right, well, we replaced all of our spark plugs and wires. Still got the intake off. This completely broke. But otherwise, I'm gonna vacuum out the intake. Just get some of that kind of trash out of here and put that main belt on. And then I say it's about time to put some antifreeze in it and let her warm up and burp. All right, well, we got it fired up. Sounds smooth. No leaks. Well, I haven't cleaned up yet anyways. Exhaust sounds pretty good. Man, I'm still just so pleased with this thing. Great oil pressure, cold. Everything works. That's like the worst part. But like, who cares?